Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Dave the Hungry Gamer is back with another episode of Boards and Brews, and today I am rejoined by Navigator Lana of the Level Up Board Game Podcast and her own thing, where she is very important and everybody just throws games at her, except not one of the games I'm going to mention a little bit later tonight. But since this is your return, you don't have to go through all the rapid fire questions, and instead, what is your brewed beverage tonight?
My brewed beverage. I have in in honor of our reviewed game tonight. You can't really see it on here, but this is my Capcom cup. So the Capstone Games is a little convention that they ran last year. So it's in this, but I have vanilla Coke and Malibu in here. So it's like a little bit of a twist on a rum and Coke because, see, I use vanilla
That sounds
Coke.
like the sweetest drink in the history of sweet drinks.
It's not as sweet as like a frozen blended like strawberry daiquiri or something, but it's definitely sweet.
Are you sure you don't now have diabetes?
I might a little bit, it might just, it depends on how many I have by the end of the night.
Fair
how
enough.
Wired I'll be, and then how much diabetes I'll go up. I mean, I already had a monster earlier today. I had a doctor's appointment and I knew I had a really long day ahead of me. And I had a monster on the way to the doctor's appointment. And I go in and they do the whole take your blood pressure thing. I never have high blood pressure. And she's like, your blood pressure is really high. And I was like, that's weird. I've never told that. She's like, let me try your other arm. And she's like, stuck on head. I was like, oh, I had a monster on the way here. She's like, oh, well, that explains it. It's like,
you're a monster.
Yeah. I was like, she's like, that explains it. I'm like, I have a busy day ahead of me. So I'm like,
Now, I was more thematic. I have just a nice iced tea.
That's lovely.
But I also have a lovely fruity beverage over here, which is a couple different Izzy sodas mixed with some not soda.
Yeah, some not soda. I frequently have a raspberry tea that I really like in my fridge. And I drank the last one yesterday. So tea went out the window, unless if I wanted a hot tea tonight, which I did think about, but I really kind of wanted.
Didn't you guys just get 98 feet of snow? Like, hot tea sounds like a plan.
It did. Well, on the eastern side of the state, we just got a little bit of snow. We just got, in Pittsburgh, we only got sort of normal snow, which was like an inch. But in Philadelphia, which is about 4.5 hours east of me, they got, according to Scott, they got 22 inches of snow over there. So
sounds terrible. It's always amazing to me how big a state Pennsylvania is. Living in one of the big states where you can drive 9 hours and you're not out of the state yet. I always forget how big that state is.
It is very wide. Like, I tell people with California too. I'm like, people underestimate how large of a state California is. I was trying to explain it to somebody the other day, and I'm like, look, even to get from the coast to the border of Arizona, it's a pretty big haul to get there. I was like, it's a pretty long drive. And then I said, and then if you start at the bottom of the state and get to the top, I'm like, you cannot make that in one day. That's like a 2-day drive to get from one spot to the other spot.
One of my favorite little examples of that is, so where I live, there are 3 airports that I can choose from if I'm flying out. I used to, for the theater company that I used to run, we would, towards the beginning of our existence, I would go once a year to the Middle East and was in Kuwait, and the entire country of Kuwait has 1 airport for the whole
I did not
country.
Know that.
Meanwhile, I got 3 that I'm choosing from right here.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the reason this is a thematic beverage, my iced tea, is because tonight we're going to talk a bit about Tea Garden from Capstone Games and Tomas Holek. I'm putting an accent on that, which is probably insulting, but here we are.
I think it's something like that. Yeah. But see, that's why my cup is also themed as much as I could get with the CapCon from Capstone Games. It came from their warehouse, so it counts.
Yeah.
As my theme.
So was Mega Man at CapCon?
No, he had to miss it.
And Capcom.
Yeah, that's the logo of the T-shirt really looks like is deceiving. Every time I wear the T-shirt from there, they always think it's Capcom, and I'm like, no. I was like, it's a play off of it, but they got a little 8-bit, some little 8-bit characters. It makes it look like it with I think, what is it on there? It's the elephant from Arc Nova that looks like a little like 8-bit sort of Arc Nova elephant.
Ah, the game I have never played.
It is one of the few games that I will not even attempt to play it at the table because I don't mind playing it on BGA. I'm not as obsessed as some other people, Patrick, as playing it as they are, but I don't mind playing it if a friend invites me to it. But it is a game I have zero desire to play at the table because there are so many things to score and keep track of. I just don't think I would ever want to actually do that unless
They're
if I
not
had
going to
somebody doing it
invite
for
you
me.
back to Capcom
They
if
have
you
heard what my feelings on it.
like
I told them
that.
I like Sanctuary, and I'm like, I like it. And if somebody else wants to keep
Sanctuary.
score, if somebody wants to keep score for me, that's fine. Then I'll play it at the table. But unless if somebody else does, I'm not gonna keep score myself. I'll mess it up.
All right. So, and now I'll wait till we get to talking about some games later to share this little story. But so I'll let you go first. So, figure we'll get two recent plays, and then what's next on the table, and then we'll jump in and talk about Tea Garden. And because a little bit was very late for Lena, it's getting late for me, and then we'll have a short episode here, a short episode. But what is your first recent play?
My first recent play is a game that is just now coming out from Moon Saga Workshop, and it is a game called Loom. And it is a
Called
very
Loon, like L
loom,
O.
no, Loom, like a loom,
Oh,
like you
the
weave
weaving.
yeah, like weaving stuff. Yes, and that's the theme of it.
That's right,
Is
everybody. I knew what a loom was like
is
that.
so impressive.
That is
Yes,
how cool we are in this chat.
exactly. This is what happens when you put two English teachers in the in there. You get some weird knowledge. So, Loom is this tile placing game where you take four tiles to begin with, and on the flip side of it, it's all these colorful woven pieces of fabric together. And your job is to create either looms, chains, or weaves in the game. And before you know it, it creates this sort of weaved looking, almost like a tapestry, like across your table as you put all the pieces together. So each turn you would take one of your tiles. It starts off with some random tiles. You take one of your tiles and you flip it down, and each corner of the tile on both corners of it has a number on it. And it might say, and the numbers go 1 through 8. The trick is that
I
when you
like that.
place
As a dance major, I can keep that count.
exactly. You can keep that count. I just got back from
Yeah,
dance
like I
class
can
tonight.
count to 8, sometimes
That
only
is it.
6. And if it's
Yes.
one song, only 5. That's all I got.
Exactly. Exactly. And
And so down in the chat, anybody watching on YouTube, put down the song that you think I'm talking about that I only have to count to 5 for as a dancer. I will be impressed because everybody, at least of our era, our age, knows this song. But anyhow, just put it down there if anybody knows.
I
Sorry,
love it.
I've interrupted
You're
you
good.
40 times.
You're good. I'm used to it. It's fine. I live with a family of boys. It's commonplace. So back to my loom, back to this weaving game that we have. So I will have a number in my hand, or four different numbers in my hand. And when I place it down in between two tiles, it has to go either higher or lower by one. So if I have two threes next to each other, I either have to put a 2 or a 4 in there. The colors don't necessarily have to match, which gives it this beautiful look by the end of it because they are sort of woven together and it looks like this rainbow of colors that sprawls across the table. But it becomes very tricky when you're trying to look around and figure out which one's going to give you the best points. Because if you can create a chain of colors, you get a point for each card that you have, or each tile that you have chained together. If you make a loop, so if you close off the circle, you get 2 points for each unique color that you have in the circle. And if you make a weave, which was the square, then you get 2 points for again each color that you get. So there's all these different ways you're looking around the board to try to fit or not set up somebody on there. And the one thing I like too is that you can actually play more than one tile at a time. So if you're really worried about setting somebody up for the next round or you have a really good power move, you can actually play multiple tiles. The trick is that you only gain one at the end of your turn. So you got to be kind of strategic on how many you're placing down. And it just goes around the board. And it was one of those great filler games that we played over the weekend that I was able to teach to the table in like 5 minutes flat. It has a very nice solo mode. So if you're like me and like the puzzly solo modes of it, has a very good solo mode. And it's one of those ones that when you're getting ready to try to figure out what the next game is, this was the perfect one that was done in 15, 20 minutes. And honestly, I just loved the look of it at the end and how gorgeous it was with this variety of colors on the end of it. So that's Loom. I really enjoyed it. It's brand new, just came out this year from Moon Saga Workshops.
How does that compare to when Scott was on recently? He was talking about a lot of the button shy games, the little
Yeah,
wallet games, the ones that he likes playing solo. How does it compare to those in complexity? Because your description made it sound like it's probably about the same, very light.
it is pretty similar. And that's probably why I gravitate towards it because Scott and I have a running joke that we are pretty much button shy junkies. Like, it is
So
probably
you would say you're
frightening.
button buddies?
We're button buddies. Yeah, it's probably frightening how many button shy games we own. And we constantly just, I have this basket just full, just of them constantly overflowing them.
You know what you
And I
should
take
get?
them
You should get one of
everywhere.
those. I guess they're technically for shoes that you put behind
Right.
your, but the clear
I've
ones,
seen
right?
that.
And then just
Yeah.
put, you can just drop in each one a different one because then you'll be able to see it.
Oh,
I see them more often at school. Some teachers have them for cell phones,
yeah. Yeah.
but yeah,
That's a good
that
idea. I should do
because
that. That'd be
then
really
you could
cool
just have
behind
it there
my.
and you could
Yeah.
actually see them. Because that's my problem with small
I
games.
like that. Mm-hmm.
Like they just did
Yeah.
disappear. Like even
I,
the all play boxes, they're small
yeah.
squares. I have a
Yeah.
hard time remembering those. I just got one in the mail today that I'm excited to check out. But anyhow,
To
so
save space, I tried to get some of those clear, not the shoebox size bins, but the ones that are like the next size up. And I've tried putting all my small games in there, but very strategically placing it so that on each side of it, they're clear so I can
and it's still
see the
tasteful.
runningness of them. Well, so mostly just so I can see what games I have in there running along the side of it. And so far, it's working mostly okay, but I haven't done that with my button shy games yet. But I kind of like your idea better, especially because where I teach downstairs every day, what they see behind me is they do see a door behind me usually, which is the equivalent of like right here, just downstairs. And instead, what I have there on the door now is all my con badges against there. So it's just this like plethora of just like ribbons and badges and lanyards and all of this stuff. But so they can usually see that behind me. And every now and then they'll look at it and they're like, what is that back there? I'm like, those are all the conventions you can see me at. I was like, every time you see me
That's
from a
right.
hotel room
I'm
teaching
cool.
class,
That's what that's
that's right.
about.
That's exactly what that is. Like, that's exactly what that is. But
So
they do compare very, very similar, except the box is bigger. The box is probably about the size of, actually, we were talking about earlier, it's probably about the size of the Cyber Pet Quest box. It's about that size.
is that thick and chunky?
A little bit thinner, but pretty close to it. Because the tiles, what I really liked about it was that the tiles are not cards; they're actual physical, like very thick cardboard tiles that you lay down. When I opened up the box, I fully expected it to be like the button shy games, like all the little cards like that. And I was very excited when I saw they were actually chunky tiles to place around. So I felt like it actually made it stay better together when you were placing it on the table. Although I'm kind of clumsy, so I did bump it a few times, but I really liked it. I know if you're not a fan of very simple games, you might want to pass that one up, but I like those quick simple games that I can bring to the table in between games or when I just don't have a lot of time or teaching a game to somebody that doesn't want a massively heavy game. This was perfect for that.
Right, so my first one is well, let me make sure I get the title actually correct.
Right?
The Hobbit, There and Back Again
Mm.
by Reiner Knizia. He's made a game or two, and published by Office Dog Games. And just a shout out to Bree Woodward at Office Dog and Z-Man. Bree, you're great. Your games are beautiful. Keep being awesome. But this is a roll and write, and kind of the fun production shtick about this. There's really two things that are very cool. One, it is a dry erase book. So you just flip through this whole book, and I call it a book because it's Bilbo's there and back again story. And each different page is a different part of the story. You go all the way through the entire story of The Hobbit. Now, eventually, I'm going to do a full video of this, but I haven't played all of them yet. I mean, it's no spoiler. I've read The Hobbit like 6 times, but I just recently went back to visit my parents on the East Coast, and this was one that I brought with me. And this was a tough choice because it's heavy. Like it's a small little box, but it's heavy. It is chunky. But I took it back and I thought this is one that maybe I can play with my brother and his wife because he'll play games, but he doesn't really have patience to like learn the rules.
Yeah.
Usually, if there's a
Yeah.
lot of them, he just kind of wants to go.
Yeah.
And one of his favorite things to do is talk about what a game should be. My favorite was we played Lunar Rush a couple of trips ago because obviously our other brother designed it, and
Right.
there was a whole bunch of copies sitting in the house that my mother backed like 8 of them because she was
Oh.
going to send them out to everybody in the family as a Christmas. And like 2 years later, I get there like, what are all these Lunar Rushes here for? Said, oh yeah, I'm sending them out. I'm like, Mom, that was years ago. So I sent them out, and then my brother's like, I've never played. So we set it up, we played, whatever. But we're going through, and at one point, he's like, you know what would make this game good? If we could backstab each other. That's what this game needs. It needs some backstabbing. You know what this game needs? And just all this stuff. I was like, text Skippy, go right ahead, do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, do you think that's a good idea?" I'm like, "No, it's a stupid idea. You want a different game, man."
Right.
Anyhow, so this is him, and so we set it up, and we just kind of played through the first story, which is all the dwarves trying to get to
Mhm.
Bilbo's house. And so the way it works, everybody, is you have on the dice you have Gandalf hats, or you have shapes. Think like your Tetris shapes, or you have swords, or you have bread. And the bread and the swords are different for each different scenario that you do. In the first scenario, you're having to pair the bread with the dwarves that are on the map. There's a bunch of dwarves spread out on the map, and you're going to be using those Tetris pieces when you draft them. I'll talk about that in a second to draw the path these dwarves are taking. And if they cross paths, they're now together, and you're trying to get the dwarves to Bilbo's house. But each of them needs food. So you're trying to pair each of them with bread. So if they show up with bread, they're worth more points. Now the swords, if you use swords, you're just collecting swords and it's a chart. 1 to 4 swords is 5 points, 5 to 9 is 10 points, and so on. And then the Gandalf hats are kind of a catch-all, does magic different things that you need. And so each round you're going to roll all 5 dice, and the first player will pick one, and they'll draw whatever it is, or just take the sword, or just mark the bread. And then the next player takes one, and then in a 4-player game, whoever rolled first gets the leftover die. And that's the game. You're just doing these things and seeing who can get Gandalf and Thorin with their bread back to Bilbo's house. First, once someone gets all the dwarves there, the game's going to end at the end of that round. But then each successive play, it does something different. So just very briefly on the next one, it is the bread that's just worth a chart of points. But your swords, you're using the swords to fight the trolls. And so you can't cross over their space if you don't have a sword to spend. Each different map page is slightly different, a different variant. You're always drawing these paths. And short answer here, it's really fun. Everybody liked it. Mrs. Hunger Gamer really liked it. It helps that she likes The Hobbit. It helps that is a bit of a callback to that 70s or 80s Lord of the Rings Hobbit, just like Fate of the Fellowship is, but a different artist, so it's a slightly different take on it. It's really cute. It's got chonky bits of cardboard. The
Mhm.
dice are nice. The map books are thick and heavy, and they open flat. Even that first one, it opens nice and flat. And it's just a really quick, fun, clever little roll and write. But it changes every page, and that is just fantastic. This is to me a top tier roll and write. I know you've played it, so I'm going to stop
I have.
monologuing 1 second. But the
You're
only
good.
knock I'm going to put on this, the only knock I'm going to put on this is it has a solo mode and it exists. And it's fine. It's like a timer that you're going to get, and there's some like penalties depending on each level, but there's no goal. Like you get
Mm,
more points like if you finish the actual in-game trigger, but there's not even like unless I missed it. There's not even like a chart that says, "Ah, if you got 55 points,
right.
you are Radagast the Brown. Oh, you got 100, you're Gandalf the White." It
Woohoo!
just doesn't
Yeah.
have anything like that in there. Sorry, Radagast. I'm going to put some respect on your name, Radagast. You did good, buddy. You did good.
Yeah.
But it does let you kind of play the game and it does let you experience different levels. And I suspect I will play more of them solo. But so maybe not a great solo roll and write, but for two, three, four, I really, really liked it. I know I'm going to play more of it. But I wanted to talk about it now because I don't want to actually review it till I've played all of it. But you've
Right.
played it. Now you
I
get to
have played
monologue.
it. I have played it, and it's interesting because I have not, as much as I love solo games, I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet because I only got to play it originally when they were first talking about it at one of the Asmodee meetups at Origins, I think it was last year, and it was great. I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite games I played at that meetup. And then I went to PAX Unplugged and it was completely sold out. So I had to wait and it finally just came in. I think it was last month it finally came in when I ordered it from, I think I ordered it from directly from Asmodee and it finally came back in. But I haven't played it solo yet. And now it makes me kind of wonder if I'm going to like it solo because that was a big reason I got it because I thought, oh, it has a solo mode. It'll be good. But I played it at a big table of, I think it was like four, what does it play up to? Four or five? I
Four,
mean, it was
four.
a four. Yeah, it was all four of us playing at the table. And we had a lot of fun with it. Like everybody who walked away from that table was like, this is a good game for a roll and write. And I think all of us went in, not me, because I actually like roll and writes, but I know a lot of people are kind of sometimes over roll and writes. I don't mind them
Yeah,
because they,
I'm often there too.
yeah,
And
this
when you
one
as soon as you
surprised
mention
us.
that, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm thinking like, well, why do I not feel meh about this one? And
yeah,
I think it's because it's something different each
yeah,
different spot. And there are definitely times when you're like, man, it's boring, but I really need that bread. Need that
yeah,
bread so I can get
yeah,
some bread. And also,
exactly.
don't let me scare you away from playing the solo. I think it is
I'm gonna try
enjoyable,
it
but
still.
I just think
Yeah.
compared to the experience of the drafting around the table,
Hmm.
it just doesn't compete. It has a clever mechanic to make it you're still having to do a draft. For everyone
Right.
who is just listening, I'm sure you heard those quotes on draft, but it just doesn't touch the enjoyment of doing it around the
The
table.
table.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
I'll have to compare to it. I'll compare.
I
Next
mean,
time
if
I
you
come on,
knock
I'll
out a
let you know.
solo game
Yeah.
in 20 minutes, I mean, it's
Yeah.
lightning fast.
I am so looking forward to after this week. Well, actually, I guess more after next week when I get back from Kentucky, because this week is finishing out three of my graduate classes. So this spring two term, I'll only have one graduate class to do. And I am so looking forward to a little more free time and
Now
relief
you are the
right now.
student, but soon you will be the master.
That's how it feels right now. It is a fascinating experience to go back from being a teacher. And it's interesting because all of us are teachers in this class. So it's very funny for all of us as teachers to come back and be students again and be in the place of all of our students that we teach.
Are people falling into that dynamic of, oh, you got the cool kids, like the PE teachers, are they like the cool ones or like the jocks? And then you got the chemistry teachers are like, oh, get them out of here, nerd.
Only one I was maybe he'll probably won't even listen to this. I was kind of poking fun of it because a lot of our classes are all async, they're all remote most of the time because everybody works and so everybody all of our graduate classes are mostly just online now. But I was kind of chuckling a little bit at one of our educational technology class. We're supposed to record a video every week and share a sort of piece of educational technology. So of course I come in with a nice camera, not the camera, a nice microphone, and having been used to talking not only on Zoom to students all day every day, but doing what we do, which is talking in front of the camera all the time. And boy, all my classmates were like, wow, it sounds like you do this professionally. And I'm like, well, kind of.
I
And
mean, professional, the amount of time I put into it, not the
right. That's
amount
where I
of
was
money I
like,
make.
that's why I was like, kind of not really the money I've made, but how much I had time I put into it. Yeah. But one of the guys in there, this is the last week of class. And my gosh, he has his laptop sitting clearly on his lap. So the laptop's camera is facing up where it looks like one of those screens where it's like up your nose and the light is up here shining down like as if it's like a halo over him. And I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Why can't he figure this out? And of course, I see in the background then like a hockey stick, a puck on the wall. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he's probably a PE teacher who just has no idea what he's doing on technology.
Everybody, if you have complaints about Lena slagging off PE teachers, send
You're
those
welcome.
to Level Up Board Game Podcast, care of Patrick. So, aside from your unadulterated hate of PE teachers, what else have you been up to lately?
Another one it's sort of a recent play of
I'm
a
sorry,
game that
something just hit me. Other English teacher. I just said your unadulterated hate. What would adulterated hate be?
that's a really good question. Let's see.
I don't think that's a thing.
I don't
It's
think
like
that's a thing either. I'm like, that doesn't
it,
really, yeah. I'm like, I don't know how you could make that work into
yeah.
I feel like I need to pull up like Merriam-Webster's dictionary now and kind of see if there's a way you could make that work into a grammatically correct sentence.
Yeah, I'll have to think of it because I sometimes I'll say, "Well, I'm whelmed by that," overwhelmed,
Yes,
overwhelmed.
yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know that that's a thing.
Should task your students to it tomorrow.
Oh, they'll look at me like I'm an idiot. Like, I actually had a student say to me, we're talking about something, and it was that we're doing a unit where the main subject is themselves, and
Right.
their own identities and cultures and those kinds of things. And they were talking about something today, and just I presented them with a kind of a little hot button issue, and just like, well, is this okay? Well, what about this? What they're going on about it, and one of them was saying something about it, like and we're like, oh my gosh, Victor, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you, and I was like, look, the day that what you think of me affects me as a person is the day I retire. Like, I'm not worried about it, like,
Yeah.
at all. Anyhow,
Exactly.
for the 15th time, what is your next recent play? I'm not going to interrupt this time.
It's okay. It's okay. Tangents are fantastic. So I finally got a chance to play again because I only got to play it once. I was enamored with it. I really liked it. And we finally got it to the table again was Moon Colony Bloodbath. And this was one
That is me making a barf face. I know what this game is about. And that is, out of all the games that people loved last year, this is the one that I least want
you
to play.
did?
I
Really?
didn't
I
play
was
it.
surprised. You
I
haven't
don't
played it
want
yet.
to play
Okay.
it. I don't even want to look at it. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me
I,
to pick another one? I got another
no, no,
one.
no, 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 no. I'm going to drink the one that has some not soda in it. Go ahead.
Right. It surprised me. And I think one of the things that came back to me was coming back to it again. See, I like the old sci-fi, the old sci-fi mystery science theater 3000 type of shows. And so that really brings that nostalgia back to it for me. I like Twilight Zone. I like all that stuff. So the nerdy
Yeah, I
sci-fi
heard you add
aspect
that
of it.
zone on to the end. You're Team Edward, aren't you?
Oh no, gosh. Oh, don't get me started on that train wreck of a sorry,
Oh,
sorry, Twilight
you're Team
fans.
Jacob. You
No.
like those abs and pecs? Okay, all right, fair enough, fair enough.
Team throw it away. Sorry, Twilight fans. Um, but it
Somehow, I
surprised
don't think that the Venn diagram of diehard Twilight fans and
or
hungry
probably
gamer
here.
fans are they're probably not here.
Probably not
So
here.
I
I
don't think
would
you have to
I
worry
would
about it.
hope not. You never know. Somebody's gonna leave it in the comments that they'll be like, "Hi, what are you talking about? I'm Team Jacob."
Fair enough. I'll send them.
Yeah.
If to Team Jacob fans, send your complaints to the Level Up Board Game Podcast, care of Scott.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So Moon Colony
Perfect.
Bloodbath, Twilight Zone, sci-fi.
Yeah. I like it because I like the building aspect of it. I think even if you're not necessarily a fan of the theme, I think there's enough that sort of builds up the deck together, which I think is a cool idea of it. Is that as you're building up your sort of event deck with it, you start off with your standard cards. That's your sort of phase one cards of everything is going fine in this colonization of the moon, and every round you're flipping something over and you either gain some stuff or you can mine for some money, gain some food, build some things, all of that. And as it goes along, then eventually a card will flip over that says an event takes place and something bad happens, and then something good might happen for a while. One of the things that I do like is, like I said, I like that you can kind of build on the deck together, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. But as you're building your colonies,
So
so you're
it's like
building
it's a cooperative deck build. So you're building a single
kind of
deck
a
that affects
cooperative,
everybody.
yeah, basically that kind of helps everybody, but it also sort of helps yourself. And that's where you get this sort of interesting dichotomy with it. It is not a cooperative game. Don't get me wrong, you are trying to have the best colony and basically be the last man, not necessarily the last man standing, but not the first one dead, really,
Well,
is
then
what
you're
it
never going
is.
to be the one.
Yeah, I've never, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gender
Oh,
roles.
jeez.
Well, it's very,
Yeah.
very progressive humor.
Right,
But
right.
no, I was just playing on the whole, Twilight Zone, old timey. That was
Yes,
what I was trying.
exactly.
Everyone, that's
Exactly.
what I was trying to play on. I
That's what
think
you're trying to play on.
I think we got too far away from you saying that for me to make that joke, and now I just sound like
Right. It's okay. Now it came back again. You brought it back,
yeah.
so it's okay.
Oh, good. I brought misogyny back. That's good. Good. I'm
Yes,
very
yeah, that
glad I
very,
brought that
I
back.
was trying to make you feel better, but now I just made you feel worse. So I like the idea that you're still working not necessarily against each other. You're not necessarily sabotaging against each other. So that's what makes it sort of this interesting gameplay is you have this a little bit of this cooperative aspect of building this deck together. You have your own personal cards that you're trying to get into the deck that are called perks. And it might be that your doctor provides more food. Your doctor has found a way to provide more money or more income or something good that comes into place. And that comes back to you, and you keep working on building up your colony with your food, your resources. And inevitably, what happens is another card flips over, and it might be a robot or something catastrophic happens that two people start fighting on your colony, and you've got to take away two of your people off of your board. Oh, geez. So now my colony is dwindling away. And it's a little bit of this give and take for a while. And eventually, what happens is as you go through one of the levels, essentially, you get to the end and you keep having to add in another event. And every time you add an event, it's never good. So you can start trying to build up your own colony, which sometimes allows you to put good cards back into the deck to try to help yourself last a little bit longer. But some of those cards will also help other people. So you have to take that into consideration too. And eventually, I have never made it to the end of the game where you can make it all the way to the end without somebody dying before you get to there. But it's one of those types that it starts off a little bit slow, a little bit slow, a little bit slow, and then all of a sudden it ramps up where everything starts going catastrophic so fast and it all falls apart in about a round to see who can withstand, who can stay standing the longest, or like I said, the first person down, and then whoever has the most people left. So we played it last year when it had first come out, and I liked it. I liked it enough. I thought it was pretty cool. And then bringing it back again, and it was one of those things that kept kind of coming back to me. And every time I kept seeing people talk about it, I'm like, I really want to try that one again. I want to come back to that one again because I remember the first time I played it, I'm like, all right, that was fine. And then it kind of became one of those games that kept sticking on my mind. Like, I want to try to get back to this one again and see what happens and see how much further I can go into the event deck and see what else catastrophic is going to happen. Or if I can build up my colony a little bit better, can I last longer? If I try to build my food resources more, will it keep more people on my colony? And so this last weekend, we finally did get it back to the table again. And having played through it another time with the experience of the first time, it was a lot more exciting to come back to it again and go, okay, now this is all making sense again. Now this is really good. So it has a solo mode, and I'm curious to try how the solo mode plays. I've got a used copy recently, and so I'll have to try the solo mode here soon. But
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a game that would play well solo.
that's what
Simply
I'm not
because,
sure how it's going to play.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
mean, I
think
have,
what
I,
it looks like there's enough cards in there that just looks like it's going to sabotage you maybe a little bit more. But it is interesting because when I think about it, how I'm playing against other people, I'm not really playing that much against other people. I'm not backstabbing anybody else. Sorry to your brother, as there's no backstabbing going on in this one. It's just you trying to add in more of your good cards into there, sometimes not so good cards into there. But there's never really anything that makes me go, gotcha to that other person. It's just all trying to survive. So it does make you wonder, how is the solo mode going to play? Because I'm not really necessarily playing against other people. But what kind of makes it interesting is that everybody starts building up the deck and they might flip over a card that's only for themselves. You know, Dr. Dr. White has now found this, so he only gets 3 coins this round and nobody else gets it. Okay, fine. Then we flip over the next card. It moves fast, which is nice too. So if you don't want to sit there forever, I feel like you get enough of a bit of a thinky game out of it without it dragging on forever and ever. I even got my husband to play this one, and he actually was able to jump in. And he's kind of a very light to maybe medium game. I got him to play River of Gold, and I was really excited to get him to play River of Gold recently, and he actually
Oh
liked it.
man, there's a
But
game
that
that I
was
would love an expansion for.
I would love an expansion for
Bree
that one.
Woodward, if you are still listening to this, we want an expansion to River of Gold.
I love that game.
Fun story about River of Gold.
Hmm.
I don't know if the designer is local or what, but there is a local designer that was familiar with this designer and has worked with him on other stuff that he's done. And what I was told is, and this might just be me talking out of school, is that that game was originally about like Route 66.
Really?
Something like that. I don't, but it's
Yeah,
originally
yeah.
about like a highway, which is,
That would be fascinating.
yeah.
I
But
used
I'm
to live. Yeah.
like, I don't care about the Five Rings universe. Like, I don't care,
I know
but
nothing
man,
about it. I mean, I know of it, but I don't really know anything of the story of it. And that's what I actually like about River of Gold is you don't really have to know the story of it, and it is
you
gorgeous,
you can
and you
pry
just love it.
that gold
Yeah.
foil river from my cold dead hands. It's so amazing. But,
Yeah.
sorry,
No.
but Moon Colony Bloodbath. You almost talked me into thinking about playing it, but you failed. And you're talking about playing with your husband. That is the game. This would be the game that would end my marriage, like without
Because
question.
your wife would colony would die first or something, and then you'd win out
Sh
of it, or
It's
just
just she doesn't like games that punish you, like,
yeah.
especially if you spend time building something up and then you just smash it all to hell. She does not like
Oh
that.
yeah, that would not be
Or
good. Yeah.
and if I put a card in that
Yeah.
destroy, like, it just no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
There's
no, no.
no putting cards in that destroys anybody else necessarily. It's just that the game itself puts in the robots or something that will inevitably destroy it. But there's no total like sabotaging of me trying to put something in there to manipulate anybody else. Because whatever I put in there is usually going to come back at me too. So I don't
Yeah,
want to
but
be
you're gonna
very
put something in that's gonna hit you not as bad.
right. Well,
And
I'm
you're
going to put
definitely
something in
gonna
there
put
eventually
something
that's
in
going to
that
benefit me. That's going
and
to
is
flip
gonna
over and say I get food. Yeah.
and
But
you don't want to put something that'll
eventually,
hurt Patrick or whoever. So yeah, it
right.
just no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
No, probably not for her. But I got him to play it, and I'm not sure. I think he'd play it again with me. We'll find out. But it was one that I did appreciate that we were able to teach it to him, and he wasn't like overwhelmed by it or is just like, oh, this is too heavy of a game for me. Like, this is not for me. I mean, there's no way I could. There's some games that I know I just won't even attempt to get to the table with him. But,
Yeah.
there's some that I know, well, I can start kind of pushing the limits on it. And that was one that I was like, all right, I think you can get this one. Now, which one he'd pick between River of Gold and Moon Colony Bloodbath? I'd have a feeling he'd probably lean towards River of Gold, but I'm not sure. I'd have to ask. I'd have to pick his brain.
Which you can after he dies on the moon.
I can. I can.
Yeah.
That's a thing that we could do.
Yeah, so my next one is a game that, and I'm gonna throw some shade at Teacher Ryan here. For those of you who don't know, Teacher Ryan is an occasional contributor to Level Up Board Game podcast also. But there's a game that I heard talked about on another podcast maybe 18 months ago, something like that. And it's called Leonardo da Vinci's Codex Leicester, which is a remaking, new edition of Leonardo da Vinci. And it just sounded really cool to me. So I was trying to find it, and I couldn't find it for both a reasonable price and not stupid shipping. I could not find it. And I reached out to the publisher. I was like, hey, I'd heard about this. I'd love to cover it. And they were like, we'd love to send you one. We don't have any. I was like,
Oh.
okay. But so then I was just doing a search and I saw that their Amazon store, like the publisher's Amazon store, had 6 in stock or 8 in stock. So I guess they found 2 cases or something.
Mhm.
And so I ordered one, and it is one of the nicest, quote unquote, retail games. It has these beautiful little containers for all the bits, double layer boards. It's very beige, but a very nice looking game. And so I finally got it, and we played it at the local con, DungeonCon. It made some mistakes, and then I again played it solo a few times after that. And what a cool game. So the idea is you are inventors with your apprentices, and you are kind of going through Da Vinci's manuscripts and his designs, and you're just building as many things as you can. And to do that, you have to get glass, you have to get coal and resources, right? Contract fulfillment, and you have to. Well, I'll talk about how you get the contracts in a moment. And so you're putting your workers out onto the board, and you can hire new workers. There's space to hire new workers. There's a space to get automatons because you can actually build automatons that
Oh,
you can put in
nice.
your workshop, but you got to have a special space in your workshop to do that. So you got to go and you got to get a thing to build up your workshop. You can build a second workshop, whatever. But the two key things about this are one, the first phase of the game is it's not called the contract phase. I'm going to call it the contract phase, where each player in reverse turn order gets to pick one of the designs they're working on. We can all work on the design at the same time, and we can actually all finish the design, but whoever does it first is going to get a little better of a
Mhm.
bonus for it. But when you do that, you'll take your hammer or your pincers, and they're not pincers, like the tongs that you take the hot stuff out of the fire.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Because you have two workshops, and each of the workshops is either hammer or tongs. And so, say I'm in my hammer workshop, I'll take one of the hammers and I put it out onto the board on top of the design I'm working on. And then I put whatever the resources you need to build it on the card. And again, you can do that too. We can all do that. Then there is a black hammer, so not my player color, that I put on my tracker above my workshop of how many weeks of work, how many work weeks is it going to take for this to be done? This is 7 work weeks. Okay. And then my third hammer, my player color, I put at 0. And it'll be building up to when it gets to the black hammer, boom, you built it, great, get the ducats, whatever, move on. So that's the one thing. We can all work on these things together. But you can also abandon one. You can be like, this is not, I made a mistake, and you can just take back your resources. You've
Mm.
lost your work weeks, but you can take back your resources. And
Right.
again, you're putting automatons in there and so on. But then you're putting your workers out. And you can put as many of your apprentices out on a single space as you want on a turn. You can also put them in your workshop, which works on the different uh, designs that you're doing. So that's how you finish those. And your master you have is worth two strength. So you can put out just your master or as many of your apprentices as you want. And again, you can hire more apprentices, but you have to pay for them on rounds like 3, 5, and 7, something like that. But here's the interesting thing. So you put them out, and let's say on the space to get glass, I have 3 apprentices, and you have 2 apprentices, and Patrick has 2 apprentices. So 3, 2, 2. And we'll say that you placed your 2 first, then I placed my 3, and then Patrick placed his 2. Everybody, I hope your mind palace is working here because I'm giving you a lot of things to keep in mind. When we activate that space, what's going to happen is I have the most strength, I will go first.
Mm.
You placed your 2 first, you will go second, and Patrick's a loser, he goes third. But each space can be activated up to 4 times.
Ooh.
Each time it gets activated, it gets more expensive.
Mhm.
So I get to activate first. It costs me 0. I get a glass. You get to go. It's going to cost you 2 ducats, which, by the way, are also your points. 2 ducats, you get a glass. Then Patrick gets to go. He pays 4 ducats. He gets a glass. It comes back to me. I can go again the 4th time, pay 5 ducats, or I can pass. Then you get the
Mhm.
choice. And so if you go to a space by yourself, you can activate it 4 times if you have the ducats and are willing to spend your points.
Right.
I have never played a game that does that. It is so cool and such a cool decision space you're making every time because, like, Do I want to make do I want to go first here? Is that what I want to do and then go multiple times? Or do I want to go to the place where I get to adjust the turn order? So now I will get to actually place first because there's that advantage, as I mentioned. My one before you, I get to go first, and it's the first person is free. First person who does the thing. And there's little bonuses that you can get. And as you do different things, you get to unlock a little extra power ups that are alongside the board. I'm not going to get into that. And there's set collection of the different jobs you do and the different symbols of what kind of design it is. There were points at the end. But it is, and I know you can't talk about this, so you haven't played it, but it is insanely clever. It has a lot going on. It is such a cool design. And again, I've never played a game that does worker placement like that. And
Yeah.
I'll say with the solo mode, it's a why bother solo. It's
Okay.
very clever the way it has the bots place their things out. It changes up the
Mhm.
structure of the game a little bit, which is not my favorite because it's each player, the two bots and you place all of your workers at once.
Mm.
And there's a reason for it because there's, I don't know, it's A through H are the different spots you can place. So that's a lot of different spots and whatever. But like I mentioned earlier with Hobbit, there's no range. It's a beat your score,
Right.
but like it's not you got a
It's
hundred
just there.
ducats. You are
Right.
Da Vinci reborn. Like there's nothing
Right.
like that. But it is really clever. It is lived in my brain for 18 months and now it's still living in my brain because it's so very cool. And I brought up teacher Ryan because I posted in our little chat, I finally got this game. He's like, oh, I had that. I sold it for 20 bucks. I don't know how much he sold it for.
Right. No,
Ryan's
but
not
just
a
the fact that he
discount
sold
seller.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was
he's
like
not a
just the fact that he
discount
sold
seller,
it.
but
Yeah.
yeah, he sold it. And I was like, you strumpet. He's like, my bad. Not that there's any way he would know that I wanted it. But anyhow, I know you got
He
no
might have.
thoughts on it, but that is Leonardo da
It's okay.
Vinci's
It
toilet
sounds
paper.
really interesting though. Yeah. So I guess if I'll have to keep an eye out if it ever pops up again to look for
Maybe
it,
they still have a few left in their Amazon store.
Maybe I'll have to check.
It's definitely not a game for solo. I
Right.
100% do not recommend it solo,
Yeah.
other than kind of getting the vibe of how it works. Um,
Right.
but man,
See, if I'm gonna do that, my next solo one's gonna have to be, what we were talking about the other day is Tales of Red Dragon Inn. So
yep.
that'll have to be the next one on my list for the next big campaign game.
All right,
So which
so
leads me
yeah,
into
so
which
next
can
on
lead
our
me into that,
table,
yeah.
just jump into it. Well, what's the next game or games you got coming to your table?
Well, currently, what's kind of on my table at the moment, which will lead into Tales of the Red Dragon in a minute, is I'm replaying through Kinfire Chronicles because I played through it and I decided I didn't really like the characters I was playing, so I'm going back through it with some other characters, and I'm liking it way more with the characters that I have now. And I will probably take your advice and add in a third character midway through right now and do that. So I'm finishing out that campaign. I'm a little over halfway through it right now. It's living on my table so I can just kind of come back to it at any time without having to take it back out. And it's not even that difficult of a game to take out and put on the table, but just the fact that it's just staying out and all the cards are ready to go on a moment's notice. It's been great playing it that way. But after I finished that one, so we were chatting about campaign games that we liked, and the conversation came up about how much Will liked Tales of the Red Dragon Inn. So that was the next one on my list of it's either going to be my gamifying my fitness motivation to keep myself running. It's either going to be my reward because I have check boxes that I have made. So when I hit so many, I reward myself with something, usually like a game or something like that, or something that's been on my list, or bits that I've been on my list, or just the fact that I have made it through 3 graduate classes this semester so far, and so far so good. That might be the reward as well, or maybe a little bit of both. But that's going to be next up. I haven't even ordered it yet. I actually will probably order it very soon, so that way
So
it'll come. But that
are
is,
you going to go for the one that
oh
we found that's
man,
already painted? Like
I
that
might, for the fear fact that it's already painted. Part of me thinks like, am I really going to care about it, like if it's painted or not? But then I think how much I like taking photos and how much cooler that would be to have the painted one. And if I like it as much as you do, because I know you said how much you like it, then it would be worth it to get the already painted one. So we'll see. It's on my mind, and
I
it
mean, it's either
wasn't.
that or you start painting yourself, but you're going to spend more
I'm
money
not
buying the painting stuff than you are
right. I'm
to
not a
upgrade to that.
painter. I'm not a. I'm just not. I we literally got Doom Arena to try, the prototype of Doom Arena. And I looked at him and I was like, I am not going to paint these. So I took him and handed over to Scott and was like, you can paint these, which of course he was more than happy to do because he actually likes painting. So he's been sending us photos of how cool it looks. And I'm like, I would have never been able to do that. The only thing I have ever painted was one time for photos where I painted
You painted the
the
walls with the blood of your enemies.
basically, or as the cars from Steven Jackson games, the Car Wars. I painted one of the cars purple one time so I could make it look not so boring of gray between me when me and Elijah were playing. So I painted him an orange one and mine a purple one, and that was the extent of it. And literally all I did was I just washed purple over it. That was the extent of my painting.
Yeah, Tales is one of just my all-time favorites. But Kidfire Chronicles, I really, really enjoyed it, especially
Yeah,
as a solo player. It's
yeah,
just, it truly is good. And your experience is different than mine because you got the upgrade pack. I played
I
the
did.
first edition. Apparently, you have fewer cards than I had to deal with, and
Yeah,
I did not get the upgrades for all the bad guy standees. And and I stand by it.
so good. Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you get those too?
Oh yeah, the kit that I got, it has like everything. The guys, the bad guys, all have upgraded acrylics that stand in there. All my characters have the upgraded acrylics. It's funny. I posted a picture about a week ago in the Incredible Dreams Discord server, and somebody's like, I keep seeing these photos of like, the base with the colored bases for the characters, and they're like, mine didn't come with that. Is that something new? And I was like, that's the upgrade kit. I was like, that's
Oh,
the
interesting. Because
that's the upgrade.
mine, well, I guess which is yours because I sent it to
Yeah,
you.
you gave me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it had the like a line outlining the base for the
Oh,
characters,
yeah,
but with the color, but it had just the cardboard standees for the bad guy. And I still stand by it
yeah.
because you only see them once.
Right.
You only see them once. And also for me, I played most of it. Actually, I filmed most of the plays, so they're laying
Mm.
flat down flat anyway. Now the
For
metal
you laying it flat, that probably would have been. It probably was better that you have the cardboard ones because the acrylic ones trying to lay it flat would have probably like had a really awkward shine off the
yeah,
camera
probably.
and
But
all of that.
the metal coins I would have been there for
I
sure.
like the metal coins and I really like they are also comes the upgrade kit also comes with a each character has their own little mini square player mat to go with it too,
Mm.
which I really like. So you can take their usual base that you have, where you put your cards or you put your exhaustion cards or whatever it is you have on there, and you put it down there, but it fits perfectly onto their player mat. And it even has a spot where you can rest their tokens when they're not in play. And it also even has a circle spot on it. So if they become the targeted one of
Oh, the
of
bad
the
guys.
bad
Yeah,
guy,
that's
yeah,
clever.
the bad guy, it has a little spot that you can place them into there. It has another little corner for your lamp, or for your lantern, so you can flip it over there. So I really like that on it, and it keeps it really nice and organized. And it came with the with all the sleeves, all the character sleeves. So every time I'm
You
playing them, oh, it's
nerd.
beautiful. It's beautiful. I am a
That's
sucker for
awesome.
sleeves. That's one of the few upgraded. That's one of the big upgraded
That's how
bit
your
things that
husband
I'm.
wooed you, right? He
You're
put on
right. Yeah.
sleeves. You're like,
Yeah, I just
oh,
put on sleeves.
oh,
Yeah, exactly.
get out
Ooh,
of here, tank tops.
yeah,
Hello.
exactly.
Yeah,
Sleeves.
I'm a big fan of it. Actually, I enjoy the whole kind of Kinfire universe.
Yeah.
The
Oh, I do. I love them.
Kinfire delves are good, and I haven't
Hmm.
gotten back to it since I made a video on the co-op mode for Kinfire. What's it called? Council. Kinfire
I haven't
Council.
played Council yet. I really
You
want to
know,
play Council.
it's. I'm not going to say it's a brilliant game.
Hmm.
I'm not going to say that. But it
Right.
is a clever worker placement game, and the co-op mode is very interesting. And I
Hmm.
actually recently they were kind enough that they sent me the upgraded bits, and
Oh, nice.
I haven't gotten to play it with the upgraded bits, but
Yeah.
it's a clever one too, a clever one too.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna rapid fire four for on my table next, and one of them is
Uh-oh.
probably the truth.
Yeah.
So I just got in today my Kickstarter pledge of The Last Spell, which is a
Ooh.
tower defense game, but it's one of the ones where you have your heroes kind of running around and you build up your town, and it just looked cool. That's all I can say. I mean, I love a crisis management
Yeah.
game. I like tower defense games if it's fantasy stuff.
Hmm.
And it grabbed me, and it took forever to get here. So we shall see. It's probably not really on my
Yeah.
table next, but I want it to be because it just showed up.
Right.
But also it's got like gray minis, and I can't handle that. But I think I have to
Yeah, yeah.
handle that once just because if I don't like it, I don't want to paint all of it.
That's true.
So there's that. But there's also the Lands of Galzir. My expansion has shipped,
Woohoo.
but I think it's coming from Quartermaster Logistics, so it'll be 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But so Galzir, I really enjoy it. It's so fun. I play it with Jerry Hawthorne and my buddy Canadian
Hmm.
Kev. For all of you in Canada, just Kev. And we play over Zoom, and I'm so excited to get the rest of it. There's that. Then there is Terracotta Army, which I just played for the first time, and Original Dunn and I were talking about it. I was like, I kind of like that. He's like, maybe maybe you should get like the upgraded bits. Like there's some Etsy upgraded bits, it's like coins and clay.
Oh,
And I was like,
nice.
in
Yeah.
Meeples, like it's $30. I was like, Don, if I get this,
Yeah.
you're
We'll
committing to
play.
play.
Yes.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'll put it on my 10 by 10. I was like, all right,
All right.
know what we're in. So I've ordered those and I've kind of painted the minis because there's a bunch of minis, but they're clay statues. So basically, I primed them olive and did a
Right.
wash on them. But
Right.
so there's that one. But really, what's probably next is Aquaria
Yeah.
from Capstone, and which I mentioned earlier. I was going to tell a story, and the story is the last time we were both on Level Up, you were talking about Capstone and your good friends at Capstone. And I was like, man, I can't get Capstone to acknowledge my existence. And everybody, to be fair, that is fine. I am not a big deal. Like,
Right.
I am not. But it's just there's a few publishers that Level Up just has the in with, and even they give me email contacts, nothing. And so Elena was like, I'll email my guy. I'll email my guy. He's my guy. He comes to Pittsburgh. He texts
Yeah.
me. He takes me out to dinner. He buys me lobster and steak. And he's like, we love you so much. Here's everything we've ever made. Oh my gosh, would you grace us with your presence? I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so she emails. And I just responded and very clearly did not ask for anything. I even said, I'm not asking for
It was the
anything.
anti-asking.
Yep. I just said, I've always wanted to just have a contact with you
Hmm.
all to maybe work with you in the future. This is who I am. This is what's up. And he responded and he's like, well, usually this is how we do things. But would you like a copy of Aquaria? And now this is funny because Patrick is creaming his panties over this game. You don't have one. And now I have one. And also, that's how I got Tea Garden, which wasn't even in the email. It was just in the box, which is great because I've been very interested in Tea Garden too. But so now I have Aquaria. And I actually had to make the choice of which one I was going to do first. If I was intelligent, I would have started with Aquaria because that's the new hotness.
Hmm.
But Tea Garden is a little simpler, I think. And so I was like, okay, I'll start with Tea Garden. But so
Hmm.
Aquaria, once I finish with Tea Garden, that's probably going to be next.
Yeah.
So
I will
go ahead
probably
and tell me
email.
how
Yeah, I'll
jealous
probably
you are.
yeah. I am jealous. And to be fair, what's funny is that I haven't even emailed Capstone. I'm sure if I email the guy from Capstone, I'm seeing him next week. If I email him tomorrow and
Ask him
say
after the
and
lobster. Ask him to serve the lobster on a copy of Aquaria. That's thematic.
yeah, and be like, can I have a copy? Because we talked about it when I went to CapCon back in September, but it wasn't even, they only had a copy at the store, like a copy at the time. And the same with Sanctuary, they only had a copy. And so they didn't have one then. I was gifted Pirates of Maracaibo when I went there, which was very exciting. But Aquaria wasn't even out yet. And so we hadn't seen him. And I didn't reach out for Aquaria because I did not realize how much Patrick really wanted Aquaria until
I mean, he wants it
until
so much, it
after
kind of makes you
PAX.
not want to get it, right?
I know. It makes he wants it so much that Patrick, I think I will reach out to him, and if I get a copy, that I will lord it over that it is my copy, and you will be blessed to be able to play the copy
He
of
can
it.
come watch you
But
play.
he could come watch me play while I sit there and play it solo. But I'll probably do it, or I'll probably just end up picking up I might end up just picking
Yeah.
up my own copy
Yeah.
eventually.
And so
But it's
Aquaria, for everybody, it is
yeah.
the new game by Tomas Holek. I'm so sorry, Mr. Holek. I don't know how to say it. I just know it's not Thomas
Yeah.
Holek. I know that's not
Yes.
it. I'm
Right.
sorry for butchering that. But he of SETI and Galileo Galilei, which
Hmm.
I haven't played that one, and Tea
I've played that
Garden.
one.
And so like the dude who just showed up from another planet is all I can guess
Right.
and said,
Yeah.
"Hello people, I have designs
I
for
am
you."
here.
You know. So that's what it is. This is about building an aquarium and yeah, I'm actually very excited about it, and I'm hoping I can get my wife to play with me because she loves aquariums and loves fish, and she lived on
Yeah.
a boat for many years. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
nice.
it's
That's
a
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
before we can go any further, did you know that Noble Knight Games does cool stuff?
They do cool
They
stuff.
do cool stuff, everybody. They're a sponsor of the channel, which means they send me some credit every month. And if you buy from them using my link, it costs you nothing, but they give me some more store credit. Noble Knight does a good job of having lots of out of print games. Look, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes those out of print games are expensive, but they also have good deals on new stuff. They're a place that I used before they were a sponsor. So Noble Knight Games, you're gonna hear a commercial from them in just a second. But the other thing that's even better, you know what makes the world heal, Lena?
What makes the world heal?
Being a Hungry Gamer channel member. This is
You
inexpensive as
gotta be.
99 cents
Hmm.
a month. I mean, what's better?
There's nothing better than that in the world. There's
Yeah,
really
right.
not. Makes the
Yeah.
world
So
go round.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's a link in the description, everybody. If you can toss a little bit of money, it helps me go to conventions, buy my badges, things like that. Yeah, yeah. Everyone, you're going to hear about what I'm talking
There's
about
going to be a
there.
rant about that there.
No one did. So no, everyone's going to hear about that next week.
That's what I said.
But
There's going to be a rant about that soon.
yeah, no, it's not going to be a rant. It's going to be very measured, very measured.
Okay. Okay.
And also, when I lost my computer, it didn't buy me a computer, y'all, but it definitely helped dull the pain of that. Upgrade lights, upgrade those things every now and then. So anyway, that's what that's all about. But now enjoy this commercial from Noble Knight.
Here at Noble Knight Games, we've been carefully growing the world's largest selection of board games, role-playing games and dice, war games, miniatures and paints, card games, and more, going on 25 years now. Our rustic castle contains more game and hobby goodness than you can shake a stick at, complete with careful packaging and the finest customer service the land can provide. You can buy, sell, trade from anywhere in the world, just like nature intended. Noble Knight Games.
All right, and so we are back. And so now for our review today, was that a box fart?
It was a box fart.
You got a box fart right there. Like you
Box fart
could,
right there. That was your greeting back
man,
to it was the tea garden blessed you with the box fart.
yeah, you couldn't have done that somewhere in private. Wow. Anyhow, so our review today, we're talking about Tea Garden from Capstone Games. And now, full disclosure, for me, this is a first impressions. I've played it once, and I'm going to do a full on video down the road. But Lane is more familiar with it, and we wanted just to kind of talk about it a little bit. So this is a game where you are building up your tea garden, and kind of the core of the game is card play
Yeah.
and deck building. It's not a deck builder like you normally think of a deck builder, but a little bit of deck building.
Right.
And each round, there's 4 rounds. You're going to take between 1 and 4 actions. If you take a fourth action, though, it's going to cost you some stuff. But you're
Hmm.
going to play cards. In the top corner, it's got a little red number. You're going to add that up, and that's going to be your strength. And, 1 to 7, whatever it's going to be when you add up all your cards. And you're going to stack your cards up, just seeing the numbers. And then whatever card is on top, if it has another big symbol in the middle, that's a secondary action that you'll be able to take. All the cards might have secondary actions, but you only get to take the one that's on top. And then you're going to take whatever that number is, and you have 3 main actions you can do. You can buy a new card, which is what number did you have? That's how far over in the market you can go. Buy the stuff, it comes right into your hand. Or you can sell your tea to the merchants, the caravan, the traders. And that's off on the side of the board. And there's 2 things on those cards. And again, the top, not again, for the first time, the top, it'll have 2 choices of how much tea you're going to sell. You can sell a lot or a little, and you get different rewards based on that. And you're pretty much always, not always, but most of the time, you're going to be able to get access to these Emperor tokens. But on the bottom, based off of the strength of what you did, you just get a reward. So maybe if it's a 2 to 3 strength, you just get 4 points. But if it's a 4 plus strength, you get 5 points and one of these Emperor tokens. And then the third thing you can do is you can build a new tea garden, which again, strength based. You put it out next to one of the gardens you already have, and that's going to come into play kind of later in the round. Then you have secondary actions, which again are on those cards. So whatever is on the top of that stack, you have a secondary action. It might be the Academy, which is a rondelle. You're sending your little students around. You get bonuses. When you get all the way around, you put them in the middle. You're going to get 10 points at the end of the game. You put a new student out. Or you're moving down the river, just bonuses as you go along. Or you're going to get a teacup, which are these stacks of tiles that have these teacups on them. And I'm going to show it on the screen. So if you're just listening, it's hard to see. But each one has a symbol in the middle, which is a bonus you can get, and 2 different colors on the sides. And then when you take another one, you put it in the same row. Did I do that right? Is that matching color?
No, go to the other side.
There we go, like that.
There you go. Yep.
And if the color matches, at the end of the game, you're going to get a bonus. But when you do it, you also put a little cup token in the middle, like so. You can't see the thing where my finger is. And you're going to be able to take those off of the cups to get a bonus of whatever's on the 2 tiles on the other side. And you're going to do this 5 rounds. Oh, and I forgot, there's one more thing that's a free action. There's the Emperor track, which is pay some resources, pay some Emperor tokens, go up the track. When you go up the track, you get some kind of reward. Often that reward is an Emperor card, which is just like a normal card you get from the market, but more powerful and with some kind of in-game scoring condition. 5 rounds, most points is going to win. So that's the game. Now, I've just babbled. Lana, what works for you about this game?
I like one of the things that it's so simple and yet I loved it the most the very first time I played it, and that's what hooked me back in, was how sort of different the deck building is. It had enough familiarity of being, okay, this is building my deck, but the fact that you could buy a card and bring it to your hand right away was such a huge mind-changing thing for the game from what you're used to with deck builders. You're always used to, you always take the card and you always throw it in your discard pile. And the trick with it, though, is that it doesn't make it easy. Even if you bring it to your hand, it sounds like, oh, that's going to make it easy. It's not easy because you had to spend so many dang cards to get the card to bring it to your hand.
And so many tea leaves you had to spend.
Right. And so many tea leaves and so many resources you had to spend to be able to bring it to your hand. So they don't make it easy to come to your hand, but it's really nice that it does come to it. So every time I've played it, everybody really likes that because it gives you a different way to plan out your next move. So you don't necessarily know exactly your other cards that are going to come up out of your deck, but you have a general idea of where to go. One of the things that I appreciated with that is that I feel like sometimes when you play a deck builder, you kind of know what's coming in your hand, sure. But when you draw those cards, you have to sit there for a minute and really think through what you're going to do. You got to create your whole game plan now, every round, with going, okay, now what am I going to do now? I just played Dune Imperium Uprising last week, and it was one of those things. Every time you draw your new cards, you're like, I got to think through my whole plan now for this round with these cards that are in my hand. The fact that it allows you to hold on to cards without having to discard them, you can hold on to them to the next round and bring them to your hand, makes the game, I felt like, move a lot faster. It wasn't, you have plenty of AP moments where you get stuck trying to figure out what you want to do, but that helped the game progress a lot more because you have a better idea of what you want to do the next round. And there are just so many choices and combinations that you can do with those cards because, as Will was explaining, if I have a 1 in my hand and a 1 in my hand, I can take a low move and maybe buy a level 1 card, but then I might think I really want that level 2 card. Well, I can cover up one of the items and make it a level 2 strength and making it stronger, but I got to sacrifice something in that process. So it becomes this very balanced way of trying to figure out how much do I want to sacrifice out of my hand right now to make something stronger in the end? Is this
Well,
going to
and it's
pay off in
interesting
the long run?
also because you can only have 4 actions
Hmm.
and only 3 are free.
Hmm.
There is becomes that decision also of like, I want to do all these secondary actions. Well, I can't do all these secondary actions. I definitely don't want to pay to do a 4th action. So then it
Right.
becomes a, well, now how do I divide up perhaps all this extra strength that you may
Yeah.
have amongst the rest of them? And it's a very clever, I don't want to say action economy, that's not the right word, but trying to figure out what makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when you put out more tea gardens, say, you're going to get bonuses by putting them out. But also at the end of each round, you're going to get a lot more tea. And the
Hmm.
world revolves around tea. Like the first
Yes.
early, I actually rebooted the game I was playing because like, oh no, I need some damn tea.
You need tea. You need tea in this game. There's a reason it's called Tea Garden.
But you also need everything else.
Yes, you do.
And
Absolutely.
it's very trying to balance out what you're going to pick each time and how to spend the power on the cards and get the secondary actions that you want. Really, really clever. I am all in right now on this game because of
Especially,
that.
yeah, especially as the game progresses. And so as you build up those stronger cards, and it seems at the beginning like you're a classic, like I've got low things, I'm building up a little bit more. But as you start getting those stronger cards as the game progresses, when you get to those late rounds, you have some power moves and you also have some difficult decisions to make of what you want to do with those higher powered cards. How much do I want to spend? How much do I want to sacrifice out of these? How do I want to mix and match these cards? Do I want to make one really, really powerful row and then a medium row? Do I want to kind of balance it out and have a few different medium sized actions? And by the time you get to the end, there's just so many power moves. And at the same time, things have become really tight knit. Like some of the games I have played, man, that tea garden of putting your pagodas down into the tea garden, I mean, it becomes a very clustered area because a lot of people want to go there. You're trying to go down the river, and it's one of those games too that you can't do everything. Try as you might, you want to do everything, but you're not going to be able to do everything. You can do a little bit of everything, but to really hone in on it, you got to pick a few of those things that do I want to put more effort into the little university? Do I really want to work up the emperor track? Maybe I just really want to work on being the tea person and have a lot of tea because if I have tea, I've got endless amounts of cards that I can work with now. So I really do love that as the game progresses and you get those stronger cards as it goes along, that those decisions they do not become easier. It just becomes even more difficult of
You mean they
trying to
don't
figure
become
out.
teasier?
They don't become teasier. No, they become a little bit it becomes a real spot to just brew in your head over what you want to do. It's
Yeah, you
just
stretched on
really
that
just
one.
I
You
did
really
stretch on that
stretched
one.
on
I
that
could
one.
not think of anything else. I'm
I'm
like,
not going to cut it. I know you want me to cut
no,
it. I'm not cutting it.
you don't have to cut it. I
No.
suffered with all of your puns yesterday for
Oh, so good. So good. I did such a good job.
there was so
So,
many good ones, but
what I actually think, I mean, all the stuff that we've already talked about is good,
mhm.
but also not unique. What I think, and again, full disclosure, first impression for me, what I think is unique and special about this is one, there's only 3 actions you're going to take with
Mhm.
your power. That's okay, great. Simple. But there's 3 secondary actions. And those 3 secondary actions, you don't have full choice on what you're going to do. So you have to plan out your power with what secondary action do I want? Okay, I really want to go down the river. Okay, that means I cannot do the sell to the merchants because I really want to get the emperor token, which I'm only going to get if I get to 4. But if I want to go down the river,
Mhm.
I can't get to 4 unless I go way over. That to me is genius.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with one play. So maybe in two plays, I'm like,
Right.
this sucks. But with
No,
one
it's
play,
great. Yeah.
really intensely clever
Yeah.
and puts it in a realm kind of outside what I'm used to. And the other thing I'm going to say is, again, for a retail game,
Hmm.
this is a nice production. It has little student meeples, nice screen printed pagodas, double-sided tea leaves, because we didn't talk
Hmm.
about you can ferment your tea leaves, which makes
Hmm.
them improve every round, but the green tea leaves get worse every round. Whatever. The card, there's not a lot of art on it, but I'll talk about that in a minute. It's very, very clear. Again, I'm just showing a card. If you're watching, you see. If you're listening, just believe me. It's very clear. Everything's very
Hmm.
clear. Obvious some icons,
And
but
I
what
liked that about it. You
But
can
wait,
continue
wait,
on, but I
wait.
liked that about it.
This is
Yeah.
this is the point. This is the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna be like, no guest, I'm talking. So I have in my life as a gamer never spilled anything on a game ever. Today I spilled iced tea on some
You literally
cards.
spilled the tea.
I spilled the tea and I wiped them off and I was like, wow, everything's like one of them actually I stopped, I stared and like it actually had a puddle of tea on the middle of the card. And I'm going to show you the card. The middle of the card. Do you see anything?
I see nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
But also, there was one little spot that got onto the bottom of a card and kind of was on the card and just onto my neoprene mat. I was like, well, that's going to stay. And I don't know which card it was, but it was the bottom of one of these two, like right in the middle.
Hmm.
And I thought for sure it was stained.
I
I
can't
see
even
nothing.
tell. Yeah, nothing.
So, Capstone, I don't know what you did. These ain't plastic,
They used
but
magical tea leaves for that one.
nothing is stained. So thank you, Capstone, for the first time. I swear to God, I've never spilled. I'm always like, people spill. I'm like, what are you, an idiot? I've never spilled. And it wasn't even like a good spill. Like,
It was,
it just
yeah.
fell out of my mouth. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I took a sip and I put it down, and then there was a puddle. Like, I don't know what happened. I have a drinking problem, apparently.
Right, right.
But so thank you for cards that weren't ruined because I was like, well, I'm going to have a couple that are going to have a mark, and I just have to live with that because I'm a dumbass. But we all know that could have gone. Oh, wait, no. You had a thought that you were going to say before I was like, no story.
Oh no, you're okay with your story. I was going to comment when you were talking about the artwork that I really, as simple as the artwork is, there's, after so many games that we have played over time, sometimes you get games, and I'm thinking of one in particular, but I don't want to trash on it too
Spill it,
much right now.
spill it, spill it.
Covenant, so I'm sorry, Covenant fans.
Everybody, Lena really does not like Covenant.
I really don't. I really just, everybody else was like, I really just want to get this one back to the table now. And I'm like, I walked away from that one, and there are not many games I walk away from and think I'm okay not playing that one again.
I have to
And
say,
that was one
I
of
think there
them.
were five of us on that podcast where we talked about Covenant. I think it
Yeah.
was five of us.
Yeah.
I think far and away, I like it the most.
Right.
And boy, like you were being nice about it, and I teased you about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, too far, Brown." I was like, that's not what I mean, but you really don't like that game.
I really
But go
don't
ahead,
like that
continue to
game.
trash Covenant on now another podcast.
I was gonna say
Yes.
there's just so many symbols on that one that it becomes like I can't remember all of these symbols when you have to flip it over and there's just like this massive list of all of these symbols on it. I appreciated that on this one it is really clear and straightforward on there to what you're doing. Like you don't really have to sit there and flip back and forth constantly with a guide or a legend on the back going, what the heck does this symbol mean again? What
They
does
couldn't
this
get me
symbol
on the
mean
back.
again? Huh?
They couldn't get me on the back.
No.
You said a legend on the back.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
right.
fit on
No,
the
oh,
back.
of course. Yeah, yeah. No, you wouldn't. Yeah.
You're welcome.
This is what happens when you come on the show with you. But I really liked it because I think that you have so many decisions to make in this thing that I like that the symbols are really straightforward. It doesn't need a lot of artwork because the coloring and the artwork, it has such a great like ode to the Japanese artwork on there that it doesn't need anything over the top on the cards. Like it stands well on its own
Are you
too.
sure it's Japanese artwork? Because T's really,
Chinese, sorry, Chinese,
yeah.
Chinese.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I didn't mean to say Japanese. I was, it's almost
Not,
midnight here,
I'm
so
not cutting that either. Just so you
that's
know.
okay. It's I will own up to it that I am a few drinks in at this
Oh,
point
right. A
now.
few very. Oh, yes. How's your diabetes doing? It
Maybe
has
it's not the
increased.
drinks, it's a diabetic coma that I'm going into now, coupled with it being late.
Yeah, but so to your point though, I do.
Mm,
It is for a game with almost no art. It is a nice looking game, and definite kudos to the clarity of the iconography. There's only
yeah.
been one or two. I was like, what does that mean? How does that work?
Hmm.
And that's it. So that is, I like that a lot. Now I'm actually going to put this though in one of my early quibbles. I wish there was a little something to look at, and there's
Mm,
just not a lot. Again, it's a nice looking game, but
hmm.
I'd like a little bit of artwork somewhere, somehow. I don't know where, because there's just, again, I'm showing a card. There's just so much iconography on the cards. And so you'd have to make it very small or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it works really well. But
Yeah.
we
That's
gamers
the
are
caravan
selfish.
cards, right? That you just showed up
Yeah,
right
that
there.
was
I
an
think it
Emperor
was the caravan.
card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. That was a caravan card.
the
Excuse me.
caravan, because I saw the desert in the background. And I will say, I think out of all the artwork on there, I do feel like the caravan cards are sort of the least appealing out of it. I feel like you
Like, I
said, I
kind
don't
of
know
wish the
what they
caravan
could
was
have
in the back.
done. Yeah, kind of,
Like,
it's like you just
so, on the back here, it's got the
something.
camel.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
guess that's a question. Like, it's not like China's a desert.
No, but I think I mean, then if you go not farther enough, like inland in it, doesn't China kind of meet up with a desert spot? Like
I have no
China's pretty
idea.
large.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
China's pretty
wow.
large.
What's up, understatement?
I know. We never start a land war in Asia.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know about that. But what I will say though is I wish that, wouldn't it be funny if, like, this is not about China, you two idiots. This is clearly about the tea of some place that's in a desert. But
It could be.
I kind of wish that,
Maybe
since
that's what
it
they
has the
traded.
camel like on the desert, I wish like right here, you
Wouldn't
know?
that be cool?
Yeah, like, and they could have different things right there. But whatever. That is such a minor quibble because it is a nice, clear looking game. My only, I got two real quibbles to start out with. First one is, boy howdy, is this game ripe for AP.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It is almost, especially your first turn of the game. The only game that is harder to make the first play is Conquest Princess. Conquest Princess is impossible to decide what you're going to do first. This game,
Yeah.
it's possible, but it's like everything is awful. There's a song, everything is awful. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so hard to choose.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I'm going to say is it has a space for you to say, it says you can get to 250 points. In no world is anybody getting to 250 points. Maybe 140 is my, like, again, one
Right.
play.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody getting no 250 points.
It
The
makes me
game's
want to go look
mocking
up
you.
now. What's my highest score that I've had? Let's see. I don't know what my highest score. 151 is the highest that I have played with. So that's something that I've played with, and not my score. That's not by any means. I'm the person who gets into practically negatives on Lunar Rush. So it's.
But you hold the record.
I do hold the record. I can
So I
hold the
do
record
want
for
you to
the
know,
lowest
on a
score.
sidebar at the recent convention, we played a 5-player Lunar Rush, and the publisher was playing the robots.
Right.
And going into the last round, he just was crapping the bed. I looked at her, I was like, Bernie, you made this thing. And he had 60 points going into the last round. And I was like,
I don't feel so bad then.
Is this the time? Well, no, do feel bad because he finished with 270.
Oh man, you
He
just
got like
ruined
210 points on the last round.
Yeah.
But just throwing out. But so, what quibbles do you have of this?
The caravan cards were one that I kind of griped about. That I was like, it made it. I feel like every time I've played, I almost kind of forget the caravan exists because I'm just not drawn to looking at it. There's a lot of other things that I look at and like with it. And personally, every time I've played, I feel like one just little quibble of it is the university track. I know what they're trying to do with it, but it is not one of my favorite spots of kind of focusing on the game. Maybe if I just spend a game really trying to spend more time with it, I might like it. But that was one spot that I was like, I could kind of. I
That's
mean,
really
it helps,
interesting because I've been like hardcore focused on it. And I
Really,
think the
maybe I should
reason
focus on it more then.
well, I mean, and I think who knows if I'm good, but I
Yeah.
think it's because one that 10 points feels like a lot. And you have, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven meeples, I think.
Yeah.
One of them goes on to the Emperor track. And I guess in theory, you need to have one to put on the 5100, 150,
Hmm.
whatever. That means in theory, five of them can get up there
Right.
and go around. But I like that track. I like that rondel because you get crap.
Well, that's true.
Like you get stuff every single time. Like I feel like for me,
Yeah.
I feel like the river is what I keep ignoring.
Oh, see, I've played it a lot where I've gone down the river a lot, and I usually try to always make it to the end of the river. So maybe next time I play it, I'm gonna have to switch it around and really focus more on the. But a lot of times I've played it. I probably went down the river instinctively because I've played over the past like 6 months a ton of River of Gold. So I think my brain, every time I've played Tea Garden, just instinctually goes to wanting to go down the river. And I kind of neglect a lot of the other stuff and I keep focusing on the river. My brain is probably just stuck in, I gotta go down the river from River of Gold. So now I'm gonna have to, when I get it back out, hopefully in the next week or so. Because I'm hoping when I go to GAM next week, I can get this one to the table with some of the people there, and I'll have to focus more on the university track on it.
Yeah,
I like
I'm
going up the Emperor track too, but I stink at going up the Emperor track. I always fall just a little short of it. And then it's always like you get to that last run, you're like, I could almost make it one more notch up, and I can't quite do it. And it's so painful every
yeah,
time.
I haven't been too obsessed with going up. Again,
Hmm.
early plays go obsessed
Yeah,
with
yeah.
trying to get to the top of it.
Hmm.
But those Emperor cards are so good. I mean, those
That's why I
cards
like
are
trying to climb up the rock.
yeah, they're really good just so you can get those cards. So it's a very attractive little track, and also it's a free action. I mean,
Hmm.
it can be hard to get the Emperor tokens,
It can be, yeah.
but
But when you get them, it feels good to do it. It
yeah,
feels good to work up because you just pretty much just get free endgame points out of that. And I like that because it always feels like your last ditch effort of like, even if I didn't get a lot of whatever it is that it wants on there, I didn't get a lot of like red teacups, but you know what? I got enough in there that's just going to throw me off with just a little bit extra points on these to get there. Or there's some in there too that are just like a straight just 12 points if you get it
yep,
on there to see those pop up. Like that's good. That feels
yeah,
good to get up that Emperor try and grab those cards.
yeah. The last thing I'll say is, as much as I just complained about the Codex Leicester solo mode, I wish there was a solo. And
Oh,
honestly, I
I wish
feel
there's.
like there could be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am tempted to design a fan made one. Now,
Yeah.
for people who know or don't know, I've designed a couple, and I have another one for a game called Coloma that was actually picked up and put into the reprint expansion. I was
Nice.
hired to put it in, and then the company folded, so it never came out.
Oh.
Oh my god, I was gonna have a meeple. I had a Miko
Oh.
meeple of me
That's
as a cowboy,
right. I forgot. That's right. I forgot about that story. Oh,
but
it's
it
painful.
fell apart.
Yeah, I
But
should have said that's yeah, that is a big thing of mine that it feels like the type of game that would be so easy to just put in a solo deck and flip it over and do something with it,
yeah,
you
like
know?
it's definitely one that I'm thinking about, and I'm going to brag about myself. There is a game coming to Kickstarter later this year, which is designed by Skippy,
Hmm.
same company that did Dinogenics. It's
Mm-hmm.
a kaiju game about it's like Rampage, except you now know why they're rampaging and smashing
Oh,
buildings. So
okay.
they needed to get stuff because they have a baby, and the baby needs
Oh.
things.
Oh,
Like
of
they need
course. Yeah.
a little mobile, so they need some glass, so it's shiny and sparkly and those kinds of things. So it's a contract
That's awesome.
fulfillment. But I am designing the solo for that. Or I
Nice.
guess I've actually mostly designed it. Now they're waiting for them to
Hmm.
finish making changes. But I feel like I could do it, and I feel like I
Hmm.
might because I feel like that's what this game is missing.
Oh yeah, I would
And
love a solo mode in this one.
yeah, and the last thing that I'll just say is, and I touched on it. It's one of these games I think, and you can correct me, that you want to do everything, but if you do everything, you've done nothing.
Correct.
And it's really
Absolutely.
easy to just to try to do everything.
Hmm.
And that's not bad necessarily, but I know a lot of people that will just fall into that trap over and over and over.
It becomes definitely the first couple plays, it becomes one of those things, and I kind of touched on that a little bit ago, that it was like you want to do everything. You feel like, and if you, it's deceptive. You feel like you can do everything at the beginning. And then as the game goes on, you're like, I can't do everything. I'm only going to be limited to really three main things I can do here. And then that's all I can. So I really have to decide wisely what I can do, which does remind me, speaking of the action stuff, one of the other things that I really love about this is that the openness they give you on your turn. Like if you have one of those bonus action cards or the bonus action on your card and your main move, and maybe the Emperor track that you can go up because that's a free action as well. You can do any of that, any order you want in your turn. You're not limited to be like, you have to do this first, to this first, to this first. You can, whatever action you have going on, you can do those in any order to your heart's desire. And that also lends itself very, very well to another AP moment where you can just sit there and think through what is the best way I can put this together. But I do like that flexibility out of it, that you can try to figure out what you want to do the best. And you're not limited to saying, well, you can't go up the Emperor track until after you've made that move, because there's so many times you look at it and go, but if I get that thing, it's going to incentivize me to go here, because if I grab that and I can grab that Emperor card, I feel more motivated to maybe put this T guard in right here. And
Yeah,
so it lets you do that.
the only limitation is you can't play stuff to buy a card to use that round. That's it.
Correct. Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
have to have,
That's what,
played.
yes.
Now, I mean, you could go up the Emperor track at the beginning of your turn to
Hmm.
get a card and do that, but why wouldn't you have already done that?
Right.
But that's it. I mean, that I
That's
hadn't
it.
even
Yeah.
thought about that, but
Hmm.
that is something that's very, very fun to be able to make
Yeah.
this choice and put these things out. Okay, I'm going to go down the river. Going down the river is going to get me these, this tea
Hmm.
leaf that I need, which is going to let me buy this other thing, or that tea leaf was going to let me
Yeah.
make a sale. Really clever, I think, the way that works. But
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to no, I'm going to give you the final word on this. So I'll go first. So again, first impressions.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that I like it more than SETI. SETI with the expansion. I'm still waiting for my copy of the expansion, but I've played it with the expansion because the
Hmm.
expansion removes the first turn of the game and just kind of speeds things up and makes it more asymmetric.
Right.
So I'm not going to say I like it more than SETI because I don't know that that is true. Because I do
Hmm.
think SETI is very good for a heavy game. But I will play this a lot more than I will play SETI
Yeah.
because SETI is long, SETI is complex, and SETI is hard to teach. This
Yeah.
is not hard to teach. This is hard to be good at, I think.
Correct.
But yeah, I really am enjoying it. And I try not to drink the Kool-Aid. There was like, this designer is the greatest new thing. This designer might be the greatest new thing. I
He's
mean,
very good.
I've
Even,
not played Galileo
yeah.
Galilei, obviously, and as we discussed, I haven't played Aquaria yet. But very clever stuff going on. I really like it. And so, what I'm going to say for everybody, again, before I give you the final thought here, if you have liked his other works and are just kind of looking for something that is a little bit lighter and is not going to set your brain on fire unless you're, like Mrs. Hungry Gamer, she does not have analysis paralysis. How dare you for thinking that? She carefully considers all of her options. All of her options. Like we've gotten to the point to where if we're playing something like that, she's like, okay, yeah, go ahead and have an audiobook and listen. Or and sometimes I'll be like reading another rule book or editing a video. But it's light, it's quick, it's really clever. I am definitely a fan early on. Like if I went to a convention and played this and had this experience, I would absolutely have bought it.
Oh yeah,
100%.
exactly.
All right, so
Yeah.
take it away. Give us your final thoughts on this, and then roll right into your gaming words of wisdom, and we'll get you out of here.
Okay. Yeah, this one is that great happy medium of I don't have the time or the effort to set up a massive game like SETI or the effort to want to teach a massive game like SETI, but I want something more than a light 15-minute game. This hits that just perfect happy medium of enough crunch that you feel like I got a good game out of this. I got a lot of thinking. It was a tight knit game. We were close. We battled it out towards the end. The scores were all really close together at the end. So you feel like you get a nice, crunchy game out of it without having to commit so much time out of it. Now, don't get me wrong. One of the first times I played it with like 4 people, we spent a decent amount of time, but part of that was a learning game. But we all walked away from this one going, this game is good and we like it a lot. And this one will come back to the table again because it's good. And I think everybody walked away. I'd already had my copy, but everybody else had walked away getting a copy of that one because they're like, this one I can see because it hits that happy medium that with only like 3 main actions, it's easy to teach, but enough thinking to give you still a good crunchy game out of it in a good crunchy way. And then gaming words of wisdom. What do I have today?
I mean, you have diabetes, is what you now
I
have.
do have diabetes. I really have to think through.
Side note, everybody with diabetes, we are not making fun of your condition. We're
We're
just
really
making
not.
fun
It's
of that.
just,
Lena has had 9 bags of sugar in her 2 drinks that she's had
had
tonight.
a monster. Hey, my monster drink earlier today was sugar free at least. So there's
Oh, good, more
there's that.
chemicals in your
Yeah,
monster.
exactly. Now, why
Hey, let's
my
take
brain
out the
space
one
is
natural thing from my monster and put some more chemical in.
it just happened to be one that I brought back from Tantrum Con because they gave it to me for free. And I was like, sure, why not? What is this? My doctor may not have been happy
That's right.
about it.
Blame South Carolina or North Carolina, but
North
blame
Carolina.
blame one of the Carolinas. Like
One of the
whatever. Like
Carolinas.
you know
It's
what? They're
fine.
horrible. I'm allowed to say that, everybody, because I'm from South Carolina. I'm allowed to say that. Lena, you can't say that. I can
No,
say that.
I'm from Virginia, so I
I will
can't.
also
You know,
say,
that was my
Lindsey
original
Graham, you're the
place.
worst. There, I said it.
Beautiful. Okay. Gaming words of wisdom. I feel like right now, what's kind of on my mind with that is enjoy what you like. I enjoyed the light game of Loom. I know everybody, I know not everybody I played with at the table when I played with it this weekend was a big fan of it because they were like, it's light, it's boring. But you know what? I had no issue of saying, I don't care that it's light. I don't need to necessarily feel like I have to have a massively heavy game to be considered somebody who's a gamer. You know, if you like your light games, embrace it, enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a light game and sometimes just wanting a light game in your life. So enjoy the light games.
You know,
Sometimes it's just what you need.
I'm glad you said that. No one's actually said that one yet. And one of the best things I think about the people that I regularly game with and test games with is I figured out their likes and dislikes, and I don't ask them to play the stuff. I'm like, you're not gonna like this.
Right.
And I also don't play if I know I'm not gonna like it, with one exception. If it's your birthday, all right, I'm gonna do it. So we've all kind of hit there to where like
Right.
original Don for my birthday, he will come down, he will play Mysterious Manor. He hates it,
Right.
and he's terrible at it, like so bad, but he'll do that. my buddy, I call him Streamline Matt. He
Hmm.
loves troops on a map, 4X games, which are not my jam. But
Mm.
you know what? Every now and then, if he's having a big group of people, or if he's having a hard time, all right, I'm gonna go do this, and damn it, I'm gonna be happy. But we
Right.
don't. But I don't ask him to come play Euro games. So like we've had where we
Right.
play what we like. I don't ask people to do stuff, and sometimes reviewer or publishers reach out, say, "Hey, will you cover this?" And I'll look at it, I'll say, "You know what? I don't have anybody to play this with,
Right.
and I'm not going to ask them to do that." So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's fantastic advice. I'm going to tack on to that and say, play what you like more.
Yeah.
Like
There's a good one. Yes.
because we so often will get a new game, we'll play it 4 times,
Hmm.
and then we
Yeah.
bitch about replayability. Like, kiss my ass! Like you're going to play this game 4 times.
Right.
Find the game you like, and you know what? Play it again. When you're trying to get someone into games, play the same game. I have some friends that they discovered they liked Wingspan.
Nice.
So we played Wing. I don't love Wingspan,
Right. Right.
but we played Wingspan every time we got together for a while
Right.
because like they enjoyed it. So sure, we're gonna have
Yeah.
fun. So tacking
Yeah.
on to your thing.
Yeah. So
Anyhow,
what is one of your games that you would do that to introduce like some of the people to? What is one right off the top of your head? What's one of the ones that you would just go to be like, you're a new gamer. I'm going to introduce you to something. What's one of your go-tos?
ooh, gosh,
I know
that's tough.
mine.
You put me on the spot, and now I'm having a
I
hard,
did put
hard.
you on the spot. I
Yeah, I'm
finally
having a
flipped
hard.
it around to you. You always put us on the spot.
Well,
So
yeah, because that's what it's all about. But I will say, Lightspeed Arena is one that I can
yeah.
always bring out to get people into things. Some of my more wordy friends,
Hmm.
the game Illiterati,
Mm.
fantastic to get people in. Actually, I have the expansion, which is
Ooh.
coming to Kickstarter. I got a preview of. That's
Ooh.
another one. I'm just kind of looking around
Hmm.
my room here. I mean, actually, I think the Hobbit there and back again is going to be one that I put into
That's
that.
definitely a good one.
And then
Yeah.
there's a good chunk of Letter Jam is another one.
Yeah. I haven't played that one in a while.
Yeah,
Wow.
Letter
Yeah.
Jam is one, but there is a fair amount of co-op games that I will do that
Right.
with. Side note, I would
Yeah.
do that with 12 Rivers. I haven't, but I would.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that with 12 Rivers. But a lot of co-op games, I would absolutely do that with. So I'm thinking maybe the Loop, I would do it with that.
Right.
That's fairly, it's a little bit of a heavy lift to learn. I would do it with that. I would do it
Right.
with the Reckoners. I would do it with
Hmm.
that one. And I wouldn't do it with Conquest Princess, but if there's someone that's in that already likes games, I might.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Maybe.
kind
Yeah.
of doing a quick look around the room here and see if I can see something. Oh, you know what? And I might do it with Above and Below Haunted. And I
Yeah.
haven't, but I might do it with that. But yeah, I think. Oh, Tesseract. That's the other co-op game that I've definitely introduced people to
Right.
gaming through that one.
To get him into that one. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
choices.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what's your top?
One of my top ones is always Azul. I will always go back to bringing out Azul to teach people because I like tile playing games, but it's one of those ones that they look at me like I have three eyes for a minute if they are not a gamer. And then all of a sudden it just clicks and they're like, this is great. And then they keep coming back for more. And on a similar one, I've introduced a lot of people to harmonies. Mountain Goats is another one of my ones that if I have people that are just not into games, I'm like, can you roll dice? You can roll dice, you can play this. And everybody becomes a sucker for the little mountain goat meeples on it. That is definitely one that I love introducing people to those. And if I'm going something maybe a little bit on the, slightly, I don't want to say heavier side, but like they know games. Lately it's been 12 Rivers because I've been on a big kick of that one as of late. I'm actually taking next week. I'm going to take Pirates of Maracaibo to Gamma with me to introduce a couple people to that haven't played it yet. So those are some of my middle ones if I'm introducing some people. But yeah, some of my entry go-tos are usually some of those light little all play games, especially Mountain Goats and Azul are usually the top ones that I'll take along with me and be like,
Yeah,
you should try this.
yeah. That conversation actually made me think of two more. And
Yeah.
one, it's interestingly enough, it's not one that comes to mind as one that I would say, oh, this is the game to introduce people to gaming.
Hmm.
But every time I've done it, they've just loved it. And that's Flamecraft.
Oh yeah.
And look,
And which one?
well, I said and look,
And look. Okay, yeah.
Peter Vaughn, please don't hate me. I don't think that Flamecraft is a brilliant game. I think that Flamecraft,
It's gonna get you.
well, yeah, he might, but Flamecraft is a fun game,
Yeah.
and it is a simple game of contract fulfillment and worker placement, but it is a masterclass in production, and
Really
the
is.
theming and the look just grabs people like, oh my
Oh,
god,
big time. Yeah.
I have to play this. And the reason I thought of it is because one of the things you said made me think of Flamecraft Duels, which is, I think, one of the best two-player games I've played recently. And so Flamecraft is there, and you said Azul, which always makes me think of Sagrada.
Mm.
Now,
How did I
Sagrada
not
is
say
not.
Sagrada? That's a great one.
I've never tried to introduce a new gamer to it, but it is one of my wife's favorites.
hmm
And the one of the fellow that's kind of in charge of the media relations, it's not his only job, but Seppi at
hmm
Flat Out.
Yeah.
And he reached out and he said, "Did you get your Sagrada?" I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about," because he knows that Sagrada is my wife's favorite
hmm
game. She loves it so
Love
very
Sagrada.
much.
Yeah.
Like it, she makes me buy her expansions for it. And I was like, "I'm trying
I
to read
have
those." He's
all
like,
the
"No, no."
expansions. Your wife and I need to hang out. I have all the expansions for it.
And but Seppi's like, "Oh, you didn't get it?" He's like, "Oh, give me your stuff." And so like 2 days before I left for a week, it showed up. So I haven't gotten to play it. So I'm gonna cover it for a late pledge. What I'm gonna do, but
Oh, yeah. If you go on my Instagram and watch the daily challenges that I post up, not daily, but they do that. They call it the daily challenge. Mine goes up usually a few times a week, but I started using the new board on it. And it is one of those games that I didn't think they could top the beauty of the first one of it. And somehow they did. But yeah, that
it
is
looks so
definitely
much
one.
better.
So good. So good.
So
Yeah,
much
that's
better.
definitely a good one that, like you said, I wouldn't necessarily introduce it to somebody who's only familiar with like the game of life and Scrabble.
Yeah.
But if they have dabbled into some of the Azul type of games, those little some of the all play and they're working their way into the hobby, Sagrada is a really good one. Especially when you want to introduce the concept of drafting. It's really easy to teach the concept of drafting dice around when they're just at the table and you take it there and it's not so much pressure as like card drafting where you have to read all the cards. When you're just grabbing a piece of a dice,
Then
it's
when
not
you're
so much
card
pressure
drafting,
on
you have
there.
to deal with it for a while.
Right,
Sagrada, you
exactly.
take the die, you put it down, you're done.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so she
Good
loves
call
it.
on Sagrada. Yeah. hmm
She's very good at it. I
hmm
every time we get an expansion, I win that game because I am good with chaos and the unknown.
Right.
Very good with it. She's not, but once she understands it, she whoops me. But yeah, she loves it. She adores it. I anyhow. So Sagrada is up there too.
Good
However,
choice.
it is not midnight yet, and I'm
Almost.
not keeping you to midnight. So everybody, check the description. Dang it, it's midnight. Damn it.
That's okay. I'm always up past midnight
All
anyway.
right. Anyhow, well, pitch yourself. How do people find you? I was gonna just say go look in the description, but we hit midnight, so it's too
We hit
late.
midnight anyway, so
Go
you
ahead.
might as well. One of the main ways you can find me is go look up Navigator Lana on Instagram. I'm primarily on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. Sometimes I dabble a little bit on Blue Sky and YouTube a little bit, but those are the main spots you can find me. And you can also find me, or you can also listen to me quite often on the Level Up Board Game Podcast. So Navigator Lana and the Level Up Board Game Podcast. They're all
Both.
down there somewhere.
Yep, down in the description. Anyhow, Lena, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm so glad that our short episode turned
Oh
into
yeah.
2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah, I was like quite a few hours. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two
It was
hours.
a good one though. We had fun.
We didn't even do a topic.
We didn't do a topic. Our topic was
It was
diabetes.
nonsense. Yeah, yeah. Again, thank you so much for joining me, Lena. Everybody, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching or listening. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.